caught my wife cheating on me with one of our closest friends a month ago. My wife and I went through hell for the 10 years we were together before marriage, and that's what made me choose her as my partner and propose to her in 2020. We had the best year of our lives in 2022, an incredible wedding, a reconnecting honeymoon. I really put work into our relationship and it was paying off. Besides promotions and success at work while we were preparing for kids, unsuccessfully, but we were actively trying, and house buying planning. We were flying high by the end of 2022, but apparently for different reasons. We became super close friends with a couple whom we were kind of peripheral friends with for years before that. In 2019, the guy was from my wife's work and we were extremely close to them and their kids. After his wife got pregnant with a surprise child due to the pandemic, my wife and he became very close. Texting all the time, more affectionate than I'd like. Though our community is very touch positive, so that really bothered me less, and going out alone or worrying way too much about his well-being when we traveled together, etc. As far as I know, my wife never had an affair and we've been explicit about our monogamy throughout our 13 years together. We always trusted each other and were doing great. I caught them about to hook up at a party after everyone else had gone to sleep. Everybody was sober by that point in the night and she insisted we stay. She left our guest room bed and planned to meet him downstairs since we were staying at their house, with their baby and wife upstairs. I left, immediately kicked her out, and forced a 72-hour communication wait because I was worried I'd do something terrible. The lover told his wife I was going to tell her, but he beat me to it and she did the same to him. Later that week, I found out from her that she discovered this had been going on for almost 2 years, long before we got married. Multiple instances of apparently non-intimate, but I think that's a thin truth hangouts that made it clear this was way more than just friendship that made a mistake. He's one of my closest friends, on top of everything, and apparently justified to his wife that since I told him I was happy, my wife having a close friendship was implicit consent for an affair. Insane. I'm beyond devastated. It's been weeks and I'm everything you felt. Kick her out. Weeks of drinking, crying, breaking our stuff, and lots of therapy. Very grateful to have organized an incredible community of friends to support us too. For what it's worth, she seems genuinely remorseful, took full responsibility for the harm and damage this caused, didn't gaslight me, was honest with our friends, and hates herself for what she did. But the fact that this went on for so long, it's not like she admitted I should be traumatized from catching them, makes me feel like crocodile tears. After an infinite soul search and feeling like I need to make a decision, I'll tell her I want a separation and she needs to move out soon. I don't see a way to overcome this, but I know she needs to face her own demons, and it's been hard to admit this has nothing to do with me or us. She has work to do on herself, and I can't be here for that. Maybe one day something will rise from the ashes, but our relationship is destroyed. I no longer see her as a partner. 3 weeks ago, we were trying to have kids. Crazy. I don't know what I'm asking. I'm still in shock and can't think of reconciliation. I'm so exhausted now that I feel like I need to protect sanity I have left and focus on finding some happy moments for myself. I did things a bit differently than you guys. I kicked her out immediately. I scheduled a meeting in a neutral space after a 4-day cooling off period. I was furious with her, didn't give her a chance to talk, and we had no contact for 3 more weeks. After getting more gruesome details about their affair, they slept together for years prior. I scheduled another meeting with her and read a letter essentially formalizing the separation and logistics. Told her I hope she does the work to fix herself because it's too late for our marriage. I didn't hold back, but I felt like I was entering a spiral without venting to her, and despite general advice to remain neutral, honestly, I think we're both better off for it. She's done practically everything right so far. I'll admit that to her. Cut off and friends confirmed. The affair isn't drinking. She's an absolute mess. Apologizing and disgusted with herself. I don't think she understands what she really did to me, but she's deeply ashamed and can't admit our 14-year relationship is over. Prioritizing my needs completely, taking responsibility, and owning it. Not that I can overcome this with her or take her back. Such profound betrayal is beyond acceptable. Don't get me wrong, I don't trust her. So I hope we can be friendly one day, but I'm just trying to set the scene. Because it's not really about that. It's about me, not her. We had it all. Money, great jobs, our relationship was incredible, active intimate life, great travel partners, trying to have kids the past 2 months, which she desperately wanted. Looking to buy our first home, great community we nurtured. We certainly had conflicts and struggles. Years of work, relationships are work. Anyone who says otherwise is an idiot. Made our communication solid. That's the really destructive part here. She even admits it had nothing to do with us and agrees we were doing better than ever. She was just personally depressed and sought validation from someone who gave her a lot of attention and got it in the most destructive, toxic way possible for me and us. I'm still angry, don't get me wrong, but more so, incredibly sad and 100x the worst pain of my life. I say that honestly. It's the sadness and despair that's killing telling me the loss of what we had. I think we've charted a relatively drama-free course for divorce and separation, despite turbulence. But that's not the point besides reducing my stress. It's the loss of a partnership. It seems like it's over. I see her and it's just a ghost, no matter what she's saying or apologizing for. There have been some hiccups, and I slipped up handling shared assets, friends getting involved in drama and rightly upset. But she's respected my wishes so far and taken those incidents in stride. But I just can't overcome the senseless loss of my partner, my team, who I clearly took for granted for so long, and the fact that it was gone long before I knew. Can't wish this pain on anyone. It's unimaginable. Somehow, it's worse for me because our relationship is so good. It's like the loss is so much greater. This was my 100% absolute partner in crime, whom I did everything with, trusted my life with, went through incredible hardships in our 20s and 30s, and we just came out of the best year of our lives. Wedding, honeymoon, success in competitive work fields. It's the sadness of losing that partnership, losing my partner, losing the life I was full steam ahead with. The life I had was ripped from my grasp, and now I can barely get out of bed or eat. I'm attractive, tall, in shape, and professionally accomplished, with great friends and hobbies. I have my flaws, but I'm no stranger to female attention, though that's become increasingly irrelevant to me over the past 3 to 4 years, which is why I proposed to her in the first place. I wanted a co-pilot, not a Tinder match. She proved over a decade together that she was that person in spades. I have support from a therapist and a community of friends showing up big time for me. But I went through some serious family trauma, and this doesn't compare to that pain and loss. I know it's only been a month, but this mountain of sadness on my shoulders doesn't get lighter. Seems like it gets harder. I feel like I'm drowning. Day 2. It's been weeks, and things have definitely gotten worse. Ex has been staying with friends or family for the past 6 weeks. I made it clear she needs to move out in January when we last spoke, but I'd kindly store her stuff in an extra room. She packed but left it there. We've communicated a few times via text, strictly logistics, and been cordial. I emailed about a month ago asking to plan separation logistics, financial accounts, pets, furniture, who stays in the house, etc. Expressed interest in an amicable approach and just wanting to move forward, heal, and process on my own. Ex responded 3 weeks ago and love-bombed. I left it hanging for days planning, and she announced via message she was coming home with the tone this tantrum was over, and I'd listen to her and at least live together while figuring this out. Couldn't understand why we couldn't just be roommates, at least, yes, right? I told her absolutely not. Booked a therapy session with a mediator, which was a godsend. Ex expressed desire for reconciliation and that we're bigger than this affair. That she's been homeless, earning double what I earn and staying with friends and family, and unfairly displaced these past 2 months. I told her directly I want a divorce, and this isn't fixable, and the mediator backed me up. Logistically, I can't afford the house we're renting anyway, and she can have it. Told her I'm aggressively looking for a place by April 1st and moving out in April. Staying at a friend's house until then, can't even stay in my own home without crazy anxiety, and think I have a great place secured. We're negotiating days at a time so I can watch pets and other things. I told her I informed our landlord I'm leaving, need a rental reference, and she lost it that I'm evicting her, laughs. She can pay this place twice over. She called me last week freaking out. I'm abandoning her in her time of crisis. I'm running, only doing this to punish her. Had another therapy session this week. She said how unnecessary and angry she was that I threw away household items while she was away. Guys, I threw away her wedding gift, which we received from her lover and his wife for us, and a baby planning book because it gave me a breakdown. We were trying to have kids before this happened. Unreal. I think we made some emotional progress. I'm just a broken record regarding my own boundaries, and that definitely helped make sense to her when reflected by a third person who called her delusional. But she's clearly hysterical, and I need her on board so we can work out a financial plan and exit this situation logistically with elegance and dignity, which is what I asked for weeks ago. She's lost it. Simply selfish. No empathy left for what she did to me. Everything that's happened since the affair was discovered is dissociated in her mind as no consequences, just injustices done to her. While these sessions give structure to what we discuss inside and outside of them, and that's really crucial now for my emotional safety, she clearly sees everything as being done to her to irritate her now. Moving out in 2 weeks, and God, I can barely wait to get out of this. Trying the patient route, waiting for a better financial outcome, less expensive, but worried she'll lose it when I secure another rental contract. The upside is it's definitely ended any thoughts I had about reconciliation before divorce. Day 3. Some highlights. During financial agreement negotiations, she tried to get me to pay for egg freezing since we were trying to have kids and should be compensated, and future adoption fees, plus pay off her parents' wedding gift. Claiming I left her homeless and abandoned her in a mental health crisis, she secretly emptied our joint bank account. We had a written agreement not to touch it until divorce was finalized, and dropped this bombshell in a scheduled therapy and mediation session, telling me money won't help you heal. Our therapist called me afterward and said she's narcissistic and told me to run as fast as possible. Somehow, she found my new address. I made a huge effort to hide it and showed up at my house, refused to return my pet, demanded my prescription meds and others she abuses. She's an addict, as part of the asset division. After blocking her, she faked phone numbers to call and harass me, calling me a coward for abandoning her and our future together, still framing this as a mental health crisis she deserved help for. Yes, after writing that, it's no surprise my therapist diagnosed me with post-traumatic stress. I blocked her everywhere weeks ago, and my community cut her out of their lives. She still sends regular emails asking if we can go back to therapy. Desperate attempt to be friendly, damage control after losing friends and me, sends blog posts about how infidelity isn't that bad, and small updates about pets. She won't give me full custody of our pet and her name on paper. Unfortunately, truly mine, which is an obvious attempt at continued contact through shared setup, pickups, and drop-offs, and it breaks my heart to face giving up while fighting guilt versus duty to myself to avoid contact with my ex at all costs. It's been 3 months since I moved out. Some days and weeks pass, and I'm happy with my new life, and I can distract myself from loneliness. I try to reframe it as peace and freedom. Sometimes it's still overwhelming, depressed and hurting, feeling numb, bored, and pointless about my life. I have a great therapist and community of friends, hobbies, healthy self-care routine, but it only goes so far. Ex-lover's wife and I are close. We were close friends for many years before this. She's incredible and honestly a strength I aspire to. Definitely a light in my life in more ways than one, but it's still tough many days. She also filed for divorce. Our 1-year wedding anniversary, together over 12 years, was weeks ago, and honestly, it's been like flashbacks to the day I discovered everything. So angry, depressed, consumed by life's injustice, the partnership I worked so hard for and trusted ripped from my grasp. But she married me knowing full well I didn't consent to what she was doing. Sadness for what I lost. I know I have a lot to offer. My life has potential, and I'm perfectly fine alone, but that was never my choice. Many days, I'm still suffering pain. I box a lot, regularly, lost weight, go out, see many friends, sleep better, don't drink alone, take some meds helping with anxiety. It's progress, but though I wish I could say I'm crushing it, unfortunately, I'm not. Divorcing this week and finalizing a financial agreement together didn't even feel good. Just a small sense of accomplishment marred by worry she'll get furious and do something insane. Still not 75% back to work, and it's starting to take its toll. I work in a demanding field, despite a sympathetic boss. I'm trying to appreciate my daily life's presence without looking beyond the next few days. Sharing pain for periods allows me to genuinely look beyond my trauma for a minute. But honestly, I'm not sure if I'm moving forward now by impulse, habit, or genuine desire for my life and career path. Emotionally exhausted, like a shadow creeping along the edges of my vision and sucking enthusiasm for life I had before this happened. Obviously, this person is narcissistic, clinical professionals verified it, and I have zero desire to go back. Can't say I'm in meh yet, it's more intense repulsion. Who knows, hopefully, one day I'll get there. But I've been struggling with losing something more ephemeral in partnership. Like a pillar or cornerstone removed, I'm having trouble naming, but I can feel its absence. Maybe it was belief or faith in myself and my path from someone I loved so deeply. It's more than just being alone, still feeling these scars. I read success stories here, and though I know I'm incredibly lucky in many aspects of my life, I wish I were there today. Many have it tougher than me. Hope I can, and though having self-compassion for myself not being there yet is sometimes challenging. Treating this as a season to be experienced that will end one day. Good luck to those who are in the midst of this. Recovery is a long, muddy, and winding road.
Don't be so hard on yourself. You're really crushing it, or at least doing the best anyone could do at this stage. As someone who's been through this before, let me assure you that the extreme repulsion you feel towards her will turn into meh eventually. It takes time, but IT will happen. I know it's tough. The thing you have to remember is that the pillar you thought was holding you up was never there to begin with. It was you doing all the heavy lifting all along. She's a narcissist and an addict. She never deserved you to begin with. Be strong and keep doing what you're doing. Honestly, you're crushing it, even if you don't feel like it now.
Keep up the good work. You're wise to avoid the choose me game. She likely expected you to fight for her, but intelligent people don't chase after cheaters. They let them face the consequences of their actions. Your newfound apathy towards her stems from recognizing her true nature, a manipulative and exploitative person. Continue moving forward and focus on your own happiness while she grapples with the regret of her troubled past, present, and future.